Hi everyone, welcome to Community Builders Show. My name's Nurse Phill, founder of Supportworkerhub, and we're really appreciative to have you all here today joining us. I have a really cool special guest today who has amazing amount of passion and love for NDIS and the people in it, and I really want to stop talking and really introduce us straight away. So Amber, welcome. Thank you for being on our show. Great to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks, Phil.
So Amber, let's tell us a bit about yourself.
So I work for ForCare Teacup. We are a NDIS service provider. We provide supports all through Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Toowoomba, and it has just been such a journey just over the last, we've been providing supports over 10 years now. And I guess what we have really grasped and what we stand for is quality. That's something that has been consistent through our journey. And I guess that's why I'm here, is because I'm so passionate about mentoring support workers, supporting the support workers, because I'm a big believer that when we support the support workers, there is a ripple effect. And that is obviously the participants are able to have that real personal, support provided to them. And when I say personal, I really mean getting to know them to not only understand their NDIS goals, but understand their personal goals. Because, it's
That
we all know everyone's different, right? So,
yes,
and it's, obviously it's great to support participants out and, engage in their community, assist with social skills, but, it's really going that other, the next step and seeing what that looks like.
exactly right. No, that sounds amazing. So, how many participants would you have at the moment, a ballpark figure?
We have over 500 at the moment, and very rapidly growing. We've really, I guess, grown in Toowoomba at the moment. That we have found that there is not there's a bit of a gap there of um, I guess having that security, that consistent team that really grasps the needs and the support needs of participants. So Toowoomba is an area that has, I guess, got a lot of our attention, but yeah, it's just been wonderful to support so many participants.
That's a lot. Yes. No, you must have a massive team as well to be able to support that many people.
Absolutely. I mean, if we think about it, the team really, the team around a participant really comes down to their support needs. So, and then not only that, we do a lot of targeted recruiting based on participants that are coming on board and joining our village. We call it a village. It is a community because it really, it's not. It's really important that for everyone to understand that goals aren't achieved by just one person, and it
Mm,
does take a village, and we all step in there. And I guess that's why I get to know all the participants. I know that's a lot, but I do, because
yeah.
I just, yeah, this is what I do. This is what I love.
That is, it's not a small village either. I think that's a pretty big village you've got there. So, and you must travel a lot then to go to Toowoomba and down to Brisbane and
Mm.
surrounding
And
areas. You must
mm,
rack up a few Ks.
yes, and we provide support up to Harvey Bay as well. So there is a bit of travel, Bundaberg. So yeah, but I love that.
Yeah.
I love getting to know the different communities in those areas because they are very different as well. And I actually get to know the communities through the participant. They take me on a journey.
Oh, that's
So
brilliant. Where's
yeah.
a good interesting place we should be looking to go on one of these journeys? Where's a good one?
Toowoomba. Yeah, I love Toowoomba. I think it's just really, people there are so grounded, and I just love how they've grown up and they support each other.
Yeah.
But I, I mean, Brisbane's beautiful as well. We really started in the Bayside, we're located in Kapalaba, but like I said, everywhere's different. Bayside's beautiful. It's right near the water. And I definitely see a lot of villaging, which is the terminology we use, and that is support workers coming together to support each other, and obviously participants really feeling connected because they have bonded through either day programs and things like that.
Oh, that is amazing. One because we do first aid and CPR training up in Toowoomba once a month. We go up there, and the place I went to last month was the first time I went there at Harlexton. I did not know this; it blew my mind. But every time I go there now, I've got to get one. Home of the Lemington. I didn't know that. They're the home of the Lemington. So if you ever want to go on a trip, go up to Harlexton House, I believe, is where the Lemington supposedly started. So I'm like, yep. So yeah, always go up there for one of those bad boys. So
I'll remember that.
yes,
That's
yeah,
great.
you got to get these ones on the go. So no, that's brilliant. Now we got you on the show today, Amber, because like a lot of people that in NDIS, we're looking after a lot of variety of people. Like you say, your village, you'd have the spectrum going on when you've got 500 participants. There's a lot of individual things that they need. There's a lot of things that are common amongst a few, and like working as nurses, like I know what that's like with a lot of different things. But what is it about goal setting? Because this is what I think support workers need to understand a lot about, is it's not about just doing the simple tasks of, oh, let's get them fed, let's get them dressed, let's put them in a wheelchair, or, whatever we're doing, and that's our job for the day. We're done. That's not it, is it? That's not goal
No,
setting, is it?
absolutely not.
So
Well, if
can
we're
you lead us
talking,
on a bit of lead us on a bit
yes.
of a journey of what is real goal setting and how can we get the most out of our participants to get the best out of their life? What can we do?
So I guess I always first reflect on, how would I want to be supported, if it was reversed. So obviously, the feeding, the eating, the dressing, that's just the basic. That's what we do when we wake up. That's what we do. That's how we start our day. That's preparing us for our
Yeah.
day. But that's not our day. That's just the
Yes.
preparation. So if you look at, even what I share with support workers, yes, there's a preparation stage, which is the potentially personal care and things like that. But let's now talk about what we're actually here for, and that is the support. And that's when I go into the goals. So it definitely is not, just the feeding, the dressing, the eating, the personal care. It really is connecting with we call them customers, participants, customers, because they are customers, connecting with our customer and really, finding out what do they want to get out of the day. Ask them. And, if they are non-verbal or, we would explore, would get the information that we need to really understand what would make their day, whether that is going out crabbing and fishing or
Yeah.
learning how to sew. We've got a few female participants that are really into wearable art, music.
Can
We're
I
doing a
just
lot of
stop?
music.
What's wearable art? Sorry.
Wearable art. No,
Yeah,
that's
what's
okay.
that?
No. Wear So by using, I guess, you've got, it could be anything. It could be materials, it could be paper plates, it could be buttons, it's being creative to create clothing or pieces
Oh,
of things that you could wear. So it doesn't, yeah, so you think wearable, so what you could wear, like it could even be a hat or, fascinators, but using, I guess, even things around the house, feathers, leaves, you
yeah,
can
yeah.
be as creative as newspaper. I've seen a full wedding dress made out of newspapers.
Oh
And
my
that's just a
gosh.
really fun, yes, I mean, that's just a fun project. And, a lot of these things can be recycled and they are recycled. But as far as that sense of accomplishment,
Mm,
that could actually be displayed and they could take pride in creating such a beautiful art piece because it is art.
mm.
So
That's
it's
brilliant.
that's just
Oh,
mm,
yeah, I love that idea. So yeah, and you can create it, and so I can be a gum tree. Is that what you're saying? I can get a few leaves and dress up as a gum tree,
absolutely.
or whatever.
Absolutely, and put it into a form, where it can be wearable. So it is,
Oh, so
that's
you can
why it's
take it out to the
wearable
shops and
art.
stuff. Yeah, right. Oh,
If you want it, if you're, yeah.
in the show
And
notes,
from
you'll have to
this,
give me a photo. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And this also, because people become, participants become quite proud of what they've created, there, that then leads into performance, creating an event where they all
Oh
come
yeah.
together and they get to show off, and that's, we do a bit of karaoke or dancing, and some of them are really into film and television, so creating movies, and it could be, this is where it becomes creative, fun,
Yeah.
inspiring.
Yes, that's big goals. And like you just said, you just took us straight from getting out of bed prepared for the morning to actually doing something that's creative, fun, and inspiring,
Mm.
and away you go. It's
Well,
brilliant.
and this is just an example of someone that was interested
Mm,
in fashion and also art. So again, this is just one example. I've got hundreds and hundreds of examples, that I could, making bird nests, doing woodwork and things like that. And this
mm,
is actually, you don't need to, or I guess it's really important for support workers to kind of just understand that just because it's not within a time frame of them going out to a day program to do this, this is something that we could do at home. Like, if we think about ourselves, again, back to that question of,
yes.
what would I want to do? What do I do if I want to do something different? It is doing these things at home. So why
Yes.
not think that through when we are supporting our customers in their own home? Why don't we, you know, explore what they want to do, what brings them joy?
And instead of just being, because we do see a lot of participants end up just in front of the TV, and that's where they're parked for
Yes,
the day. And that's not living your life, like watching endless Netflix shows.
de-
Like you say, you can do craft at home if you want
mm,
to, or
mm,
gardening. Love a bit of gardening.
mm,
Even
mm.
stuff like that helps, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, again, the question goes back, do I want to sit in front of the TV every single day? And I guess it's really important to just bring some awareness. And what I have found in the industry is, it is too common that when providing support, the mentality is, or the next person may do it, or the next person will do that, or the next person will
Ah,
help them through
yes.
that. And so you find a week could go by, and the only thing that's happened is they haven't gone out, and
Mm.
they've just been watching TV, because there's just that belief that the next support worker will come on and help them with that personal goal. Or so I think it's just turning up with the intention to generally support and really help that participant to get the most out of that day.
So that's a really good question, but like with that intent to show up and actually go, how can I help? What
Mm,
what questions, like if you're a support worker and you're going, oh, but I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. How can
mm.
they actually start as a support worker and go, what can I actually do here to actually, I want them to do what they want, but I just don't know where to start with it.
Okay. So very first thing is, number one, look at the likes, and then look at the personal goals that they may have already brought to, they've spoken about it. If they haven't spoken about it, try and, well, I guess if they're open to, it's asking those questions of, you know, in 12 weeks time, is there something that you would have liked to achieve? It's really just opening, asking that question. We do have a lot of participants that really want to improve their health. They would love to get back to the gym, and they don't know how to. They really need support. But I find when it comes to health, that is something that it tends to get pushed aside because it is uncomfortable. We all know how uncomfortable it is to exercise. So, you know, more likely it doesn't get brought up. But really, if they had that support, to establish that routine, and they've got someone to say, hey, let's go for a walk just around the block. That's where we show up a little bit. It's not showing up more than what is expected. It is expected for a
Yes.
support worker to show up to that level.
Yeah. And a walk, good to get in the fresh air, makes you feel good. And actually, walking in the morning sets
Mm,
off your circadian rhythm so you sleep better at night. So getting up, getting
absolutely.
active early in the morning is really good to set your day up. So that,
Mm,
and walking's good for you as a support worker as it is for your participant, you're both doing it. So that's really good.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, I like that. So do you suggest that you said that 12-week goal? Is that a sort of number that you've come up with? How did you come to that sort of 12-week goal number?
It really is different for everybody. Because again, you have to really factor in, their disability. Maybe they might need a shorter goal. It could be anywhere from a 24-hour goal, a week goal, to a 12-week goal. I say 12-week as the longest because
Okay.
that is quite a long time. But I guess for goals, it really does need to be measurable. You don't really, when it comes to this, I think the starting point, if we're talking about starting point, it's really just identifying what a goal is or what their goal is. So, you know, if we're going to make it measurable, then you have to then break it even, down. But
Yeah.
again, it could be just, I want to, you know, really connect to a group of people that are, have the same interests as me. It could be a men's group. It could be, we've got one gentleman going to car modeling. He used to do car modeling. And so it's things like that. And that's when you have the conversation, or that's when, I guess, once it's identified the goal.
Yeah.
Remember, these are different to NDIS goals. And this is why I think it's really important that, yes, it's great to understand what the NDIS goal is, but you really need to understand what the personal goal is on top of the NDIS goal. So if we're using the gentleman that's just, engaged with his local community and doing car modeling now, his NDIS goal was, I want to, increase my social activity and skills. Okay, for now, that's all that's listed in the NDIS. What can we do as support workers? Well, let's break that goal down. And that is, how can we do that? What brings you joy? What would
Mm,
make, in a social setting, knowing that the goal is related to social skills. And that's when we were able to identify that he really loves car modeling. And then we looked, as a support team together, we looked at where are some places he could go to where he could actually, you know, engage in a group of people that did that. And now he goes every Wednesday evening to the library, and they have modeling workshops there for car modeling.
oh, you're
But
serious? That's so good.
yes, but that was achieved because,
Mm,
we broke it down from the starting point of an NDIS goal to the personal goal. And then as the support team, as the support workers, we then did the research with him in
yeah.
collaboration. And then we worked out transportation. Then we worked with the service coordinators to arrange that in the schedule. And it is a teamwork, hence why the word village.
Village. I love that. So and you brought up a good point too, is I find libraries are underutilized as
Mm,
a community access point and a place to gather as a community. Do you use a
mm,
library a lot? Do you use it as a tool to
do.
help people?
Absolutely. And that's it. It's exploring to see what is out there. Facebook groups are great, or Facebook, to see what's happening in your local, community. Research is, I would nearly say, I would recommend nearly on every single shift
Mm.
to research is actually part of the day.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we use the word research, we're thinking we're researching what they want to do because, you know, once we've prepared for the day, again, the personal care, the eating, we then need to research of what the day would look like. And when I say, that's only if a routine isn't already established of what we're doing. But if it's not, yes, research is so critical to assist with goals,
And
right?
hope and that's why we've got the community builders show, so someone can find our episode here and
Mm,
go, oh, I don't know how to do the personal goals on top of the NDIS goals.
mm,
Watch
mm,
this video, and Amber will explain it to you. You know, and that's what it's about. So
yes.
that's part of research, and that's one of my few philosophies is curiosity. I believe in
Mm,
being curious all the time about what's out there and what we can
mm,
do,
mm,
not just for our participants but for ourselves as well. Like there's a lot of things that you can do personal growth wise, and there's maybe some skills that you can learn as a support worker, like
mm,
when you were talking about the wedding dress out of paper. I'm like, where do I
mm,
start with that? But
mm,
maybe I could learn how to do a bit of sewing or something like that so I can help
mm.
along.
Just glue, just glue. But that's
No
the
way,
thing.
it was
Yeah,
not.
yeah, just
Really?
glue.
Oh, that's
Yes.
amazing. Yeah.
And that's it. And but that's the research is I
Yeah.
mean, what technology, we live in such a digital world. Just,
Mm,
we sit down with the participants like, whoa, wouldn't that be cool? You can be inspired. Not only you could even use research to be inspired of what to do.
correct.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you weren't even aware of wearable art, you might find something made out of newspapers and like, hey, you love costumes, like, should we try and make this?
Yeah.
And then research goes and you find out how to make it. Well, you find out that all you need is glue. So it's thing or paper mache, or how do you even do, you're
How do you
also
do paper
building.
mache? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And
yeah,
just go find it. Yes. And so you can have a lot of fun out there. There's a lot of good stuff.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
when before you were talking about crabbing, so do you take people
Mm,
out on a boat? Is
mm.
that right, or is it
Oh,
offshore?
well, this is mud crabbing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the gentleman I was with yesterday. So yes, he's done crabbing since he was 11 years old. And so his goal is to be able to go back to mud crab, to do mud crabbing again. So, and this is where it's really, these conversations exploring what brings them joy. That's the
yeah.
question.
That's
Now, I don't know how to
great
mud crab,
question.
but I've
Yes.
been
Yeah.
researching since I've had that conversation with him how to mud crab. And I
Yeah.
feel like I've got, I've learned something, but from as a service provider, it's really essential for us to have that information right from the get-go, because we would then um, create a team that have the same interest,
Mm,
that will be able to actually support them out to, I mean, we're in the Bayside, so we're in, surrounded by water here. And yesterday I drove him around, so many different water, bays, we call them Bayside, just looking at where we could go to explore. And then the next step will be, what do we need to go mud crabbing? So absolutely, we will be supporting him with a support worker to, whether it's even just, there is a few groups, because obviously we got to think about the safety of support workers, and mud crabbing, by the looks of it and the sounds of it,
mm,
it is quite dangerous. But you don't stop there. You don't
mm.
say, oh, that's too hard, I won't do it. And I feel like that's where things just stop, and no one really thinks outside the box. There's always, I'm a big
Yes.
believer, positive psychology background, but I'm a big believer there's always a way, right? So for that, look out for groups where at least he could be in a community where mud crabbing is happening. He could enjoy the feast afterward. I know there's groups around here.
Yes.
And
Yeah, yeah. And
so,
and and then they would work out a way to get him on a boat to
yes,
go put in a pot or
yes,
something.
yes.
Yeah, because they got to
And
drop the
we've done
pots
that.
in.
Absolutely. And we've done that. We've done that recently. Well, not too recently. It would have been probably 6 months ago with another gentleman out to Stratty, on the
Oh
boats.
wow.
And
Yeah, yeah.
yes, and that was his goal. And for the support team, because we have the support team consistently supporting them, because we want to make sure, and the participant does, really provide feedback to feel comfortable and happy with their team. Can you imagine just how much of a village they feel? Like they feel connected as well. And the
Yes.
support
Yeah.
team also feels fulfilled,
Yeah.
because, you know, it was only, I think it didn't take that long. It took about 12 weeks that that goal was raised, I would love to go out on a boat, out to Straddie, and, you know, it thinks like that's just too hard. How are we going to do that? No, if we all have the mentalities, there's always a way, and there is.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
once you start to experience that, there is always a way, the whole team just becomes so inspired, and I guess you build that momentum to just want to keep on helping and thinking outside the box, and just really bringing quality quality of life back to these participants. So
No, that's an inspiring story. That is a really good story because everyone working together and you've achieved that goal. Like you're looking at Straddie Island and going, how are we getting there? And
mm,
you've all pulled together and done it. That is brilliant. No,
mm,
that's um, a great way to look at it. And I like your idea of positivity there because I
mm,
know not all of us are positive all the time. A lot of people,
mm,
like our default and through just evolution, is negative. So it's really hard to get that positive over the top
mm.
sometimes. And do you have any tips to help people when they're starting to get that bit of a negative mindset to go, how to flip out of that or
Mm,
recognize that you're in that zone and go, no, you can get out of that and actually help a person with their goal, and instead of feeling defeated. Because I see a lot of people, they feel defeated and go, oh, I can't do it. And that's
mm,
why they just give up before they start. Do you have any steps that you can do to go recognize that negative feeling, how to change it, and then have a
mm.
positive override?
Absolutely. So we're talking about like shifting your mental state, or shifting those feelings, because we already have a bias, where we do want to think the negative, and so you kind of have to override that. So having that 2 to 3 ratio, negative, or bias, it's really important to have strategies to basically, when we feel like we've got that negative self-talk, or it's too hard, it's really important to have these tools. So I'm glad that you've asked this.
Mm.
So a really powerful tool to start with is gratitude.
Mm.
Pick 3
Yeah.
things to be grateful for. And and this can be done throughout the whole day in so many different ways. We, as a in our coordination meetings, even in our support meetings, we talk about celebration. What are we celebrating today? So we're already starting, I guess, the conversation on a positive foot. I mean, of
Yeah.
course, there's always going to be something that's going to be challenging. Now, a challenge doesn't have to be negative. A challenge is just an opportunity to learn and grow. So there's actually no negative. I mean, yes, hardship really does exist, and we've all seen it. We have seen it. We've either experienced it as well, but it's finding that silver lining and just finding 3 things to be grateful for, and that could be just honestly the fact that we're here today, that we're
Mm.
breathing,
Mm.
and I think the fact that just appreciating, having another day to live is just a wonderful thing.
It sure is.
And mm,
Yeah, well,
so,
I know that work, like, because I come from an emergency department background, and
mm,
people come in, and it's usually life or death that you're
yep.
trying to prevent. You're trying to keep God's hand off them for a bit longer, and like you say, that gratitude of being, hey, I'm breathing, I'm awake. One thing I love to do is look at the sunrise when I
Mm.
wake up in the morning and go, like, how lucky am I to be alive to watch the sun come up, and just that sort of thing. So do you
I'm
find that helps people change their negative feelings and become a bit more positive, so when they go in with their client, they can have that more positive feeling and more positive
mm.
mindset?
So emotions are contagious. So, it's been known that, or it has been scientifically proven that if you are positive, the person that you're engaging with is more likely to be positive as well. If you're negative, then the person that you're engaging with will be negative as well. So, that's why they say, emotions are actually contagious. So if you show up, if we're talking about from the perspective of a support worker, supporting a participant, it is really important to show up with a positive mindset, with that, I guess, ability to overcome any challenges, because there are challenges, and seeing the silver lining. But yes, I think it's very important for everyone, no matter what position, you're in, is to be positive. The second thing I probably want to address is, because we're human. So
Yeah.
always, it's okay to have our down days. It's okay to be tired and fatigued or be overwhelmed, because that's just, life is like that. And I think that there, it's important to recognize that support is so essential. Support is one of the top five, factors of, I guess, well, it's one of the top five factors that actually determine whether you're able to um, overcome something. So trauma,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
and it actually contributes to your level of, like, your ability to be resilient. Now, we really looked at support. We're talking about support. So that just shows that, really, it's important to surround yourself with people that will actually support you when you do have those days that are down. And I think it's important for those that are supporting very complex and challenging, or, complex, and essentially it could be quite fatigue, to
Oh,
support
yes.
participants.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, this is where support and villaging really comes in, because it is hard. It is very, very hard. And it's important for support workers to really lean on each other, or lean on the service coordinators for emotional support, to say, how do we get through this? I'm really struggling. Because yes, it's not realistic to be positive 24/7 of the day. And sometimes, gratitude is great, but we also need to, have that support behind us as well.
That is great. It sounds like that's what you guys provide, is a real village that when you share that burden, when you take it off your shoulders and someone
Mm.
else helps you carry it, you don't lose that burden. It's
Mm,
still there with you, but you feel like you can get through it when someone else knows about it. I see that a lot.
absolutely.
So yeah, so you're sharing that
Mm,
problem you've got together,
yeah.
that challenge, and
Mm,
and it will be good at the end because someone else is with you going, I know you, I can see you, I can do it with
yeah.
you. Yeah. I really like that.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
brilliant. That's fantastic. Um, that's been really good. Is there any other part of goal setting that you think support workers need to really be across and understand to make sure that they're providing the participants with their goals and achieving what they want to achieve?
I think it's important to make communication. So that's going to be you can goal set, and because obviously you're not all together when you're doing that goal setting. When a goal is actually identified, it's really important that the team are communicating with each other. So I think it's really important to address that, because it's really easy to feel like you're the only one working on this goal. And goals are something that it's you can fall backwards. You could work really, really hard on your during your shift on this goal, then the next person comes in, then if we you're three steps backwards. So I think communicating together to say, hey, this is the goal that the participant would like to help us, for us to help her or him with. And then how can we do this? And I've worked, having these conversations today. Can we all work together to establish this routine? Because we're, to create to achieve a goal, you need to create a routine or a habit. Communication
Hmm.
is really
Yes,
important.
it is really important, and with communication too. And I see it a lot when I teach our mandatory workshops and full day, and the communication at the start, the support workers are very hesitant because they're scared to say things in case they get it wrong. And like you say, you need to give them that comfort and that ability, that security that they can say things, and you're gonna get it wrong. You're gonna get it wrong. There is no, oh, you need to know everything. You don't need to know the answer. If you see something that you do not understand or do not know, speak up. Like really, really, because I know it's hard because seriously, in all serious, I have seen clients sack their support workers for asking certain questions, which I think, bit unfair. But like if you go away from your client and say it to the service provider and ask them, like yourselves, then you'll get more support and better answers, and you're not fumbling through and putting the person's goal backwards because you've been too afraid to ask. And I do see it as a big issue with support workers is, in front of clients, they get really apprehensive because they're scared they're going to lose their job because it's that, so having that
And I guess that
fear.
comes back, and that comes back to the service provider really, because, as a service provider, it's really essential to create a safe place to share ideas. And that's really something I say service provider because that can't be really achieved through, by the support workers. It really needs support from higher up. So I think as a message to service providers is, create that safe place where support workers can share ideas, bring things to, the service coordination's attention. And that really comes down to the attitude, to being open themselves to ideas and working together as a team. We don't have hierarchy. We're a big believer that, we are all we share ideas. It's not one has more authority than the other. And that's even from service coordination to support workers. We really like to make sure that they feel heard. And that's just through language. So the choice of language and, the inclusion that we really stand for, it's one of our values, is just really essential. And that's honestly, it's if we think about a business model that really does ripple down through, because the more communication service coordinators get, because they feel the support workers feel safe to share, the more the more um, you're able to, like service coordinators are then able to either tweak or support before things become a problem. And that's really what it's about.
It
There
sure is.
there is
Yeah.
opportunities. Yeah. So
There
it's
is
just,
opportunities. Yeah.
and that's it. Everything is really preventable, but it really comes down to working together as a team through communication and support to, ensure that things stay on track. And you know what? It's just part of the journey of things to, things will go off track, but that's okay because it's, you don't know what you don't know. And
Correct.
sometimes participants don't even know what works and, for them and what doesn't work for them. So it's just going on that journey together to refine and, constantly improve the quality of support.
And that's exactly right. And like everyone thinks it's like an uphill, like, oh, everything's smooth, we're going in the right. No, you can go
Mm,
down and then up a bit, and you know what I mean? It's just
mm,
keep putting one foot in front of the other, and it will work its way out. But yeah, if you're going to get a setback, it happens, and you just
mm.
got to work through that, don't you?
I think it's important just to really be transparent from the get-go, and really highlight that the reality is that's that is the reality, that's a realistic
Yes.
expectation, because a lot of we might have new customers that come through and they don't have realistic expectations. They think it's like, I come here and everybody will know everything about my loved ones and know exactly what to do. And that's not the case. It does take time for us to really understand the needs of a participant. And that comes, we're able to really support that by having a consistent team that have the experience, in that, I guess, whether it's psychosocial or physical, so it's just being really honest and upfront that, please expect this, please be patient with this, but we work together. We work really closely with families and with participants to ensure that they are running as smoothly as possible.
Yes, yeah, and life throws things at you all the time, so that's good that you
Absolutely.
set that expectation. That, and like you said, it comes back to communication, doesn't it? That you've communicated
Absolutely.
up front, you've said what that the expectation is going to be. This, we're going to help you, but this is usually the way it works. Like some days are good, some days aren't so good, but overall,
Absolutely.
we will get there. We will get there. And as long as they've got that
Absolutely.
confidence in you, and as a support worker, that's a big thing, like you said, with emotion, is always being confident with them. Like always show that you're confident with them, that you've got them, because they're relying on you. So, NDIS people rely on their support worker to have that confidence, and they can smell it a mile off when you don't. Let me just say, they smell it a mile off. And if you're showing up with a bit of fear, a bit of apprehension, watch out, because because then they're going to lose their trust. They need that trust. They need that bond with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It all comes down to trust. Trust is the core, really.
Yes.
So yeah.
No, it makes big sense. Well, we have taken up more than we've asked of you, Amber, sorry. We really appreciate it. Is there any last words you want to leave our community builders people with?
I think that I think it's a good question to kind of just reflect on is why did I, become a support worker? Is the first question. And also, do I have the ability to change someone's life? And the answer is yes to that, because you do. So I think it's really important to, reflect on just the power that they have. They actually have the ability and the opportunity to change someone's life for the better. And I think that's really powerful to just, to grasp, and I just think that's nothing probably more inspiring. And not everyone has the opportunity to be in such a fulfilling role. So maybe just be grateful that, they have the opportunity to make someone's life better.
That's a great way to finish. That is absolutely amazing. Well, Amber, really appreciate your time today. What's the can you just give us how we can contact you guys? What's your email address? Not email address, your web address?
Yes. So our website is www.forcare.net.au.
Is that
And we
for
also
the number 4, or spell
it's
that out? Yeah.
ForCare. And so ForCare is our in-home and SIL. And we also have, we provide respite, short-term accommodation, and also day programs. And that's Teacup Cottage. And that can be found on www.tea-cupcottage, one word, .com.au.
Lovely. Oh, well, that's where people can find you. And I've just on behalf of the Community Builders Show, we've really appreciated having you on. You've given us so many great insights and valuable lessons that support workers can help their clients with their goals and help them move forward. So absolutely amazing. Really appreciated today, Amber. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
All right. All the best. Take
Thank
care.
you. See you, Phil.